Okay. We are going to try this again. I discovered that this mic that I got, even when it's charged, it seemed to only work for so long. I don't know what the deal is, so I'm just not going to fool with that. I'm going to let that go so that I can ensure that y'all are able to, that you all are able to hear the entirety of what I'm saying here. Okay, so once again, Divine Feminine knows. Okay, that's what the message says. Divine Feminine knows. She knows. Okay, this is a channeled message. Hopefully now, since I took that off, we won't have any further interruptions. Okay. Boom. So Divine Feminine, she knows. This is some messages for some older Divine Feminines, 35 and up. And there are people out there that are really going through it, and they're getting blackmailed and bullied and bribed because of some deep secrets that they have that's disturbing, okay? Or at least they feel like it's disturbing. And so the Divine Feminine, some of you all have dated some men, at least maybe between 3, at least 1, but some of you is maybe up to 3 men that you've dated in your past that had a secret life, okay? They could be bisexual, whatever the case may be. They did not share that information with you, though, as you dated them, okay? You don't have a problem with sexuality. You have a problem with people not giving you pertinent information that personally affects you, okay? That's your deal, okay? But some things you already know at this point. You all have already been processing healing behind various different betrayals, ranging from, some of these men having a double life, like both men and women, as well as affairs with other women, and as well as affairs with your relatives. And, you all, you know all about it, okay? You know about where, some of them, if you guys have adult children, like if you have adult male children, people trying to hit on your children or doing some baneful sex stuff with your kid or your brother, or, you know what I'm saying? You know. Divine Feminine is the last one these people need to be worrying about something coming out too, because she already knows. Okay? That is the message. She already knows. Okay? So while you were dating some of these men, Divine Feminine, different things could have come up during the relationship that was pointing at, you need to look at this, okay? And you could have dismissed it because, after all, they're allowed to have friends, right? They're allowed to have their male friends and hang with their buddies or whatever. And so there could have been a situation where they accidentally messaged you, okay, when they were communicating back and forth with their male coworker or their male friend, and they could have recognized that they accidentally messaged you and then sent you like some screenshots or another, explaining who they were talking to. And doing so could have shown you the way they dialogued with these men. And in the text message that they sent you, they screenshotted that message to you. The message could have been like, oh, where you going? What you doing? You want to hang out? What you doing? Oh, and the other person could have been like, oh, no, I'm on that girl in Austin. You know what I'm saying? Right now, whoop. And then they could have been like, oh, oh, I'm messing with that girl in Austin again next couple of days. And then your person that you were dating at the time could have been like, oh, okay. And they was like, oh, I fuck with you, when I get back. And then your person could have been like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. Be safe, my dude. right? Now, this could have been in a time where, okay, you're his girlfriend, at least that's what you think. But in a time where it's like, okay, they got time for that whole dialogue, but they hadn't responded. And so you could have been thinking something then, but you shook it off, right? Like, oh, people could have friends. Who are you to question the way they address their male friend? Even though you might have felt funny, like, be safe, my dude. Like, okay, I don't know now. And then they could have been, having barbecues, the co-workers, we're having barbecues and so forth. And, it's like the perfect setup. Okay. And then when they're talking to them in front of you, you're not going to question it because they're opposite sex. Now, these men, I believe they all knew of you because I think this is the thing. This is what they do. Okay? It's a thing. Some of these men became the men that's now stalking you, Divine Feminine. Just one more added element to already fucked upness that you dealt with. Like people putting you in these situations because of their toxicity. Okay. Feminine, you already discovered that most of these men, at least 3 of your men of your past, were on assignment to be your handler. You've received the knowledge and the truth about that they were asked, that they were offered something, that they were hired by somebody to come towards you, okay? To come towards you and, get to know you, act like they were interested, and this is so that they can get inside, okay? Now, as you're reflecting, you guys figured out like, oh, that's why they kept trying to get me to like befriend their sibling. And that's why they kept pushing for me to talk to this one and that one so that they can then remove themselves after they got the door open. Like they were supposed to be trying to bridge, okay? And that didn't work because feminine, you're too wise for that. And you're not trying to fool with folks who you've got an all vibe from. Okay. And when you're dating people or you're getting to know folks, your focus is on that person initially. Okay. You're not trying to rub shoulders with their friends and family because you don't know them. Okay. Shit. You don't know them. And your focus is on the person that is appearing to have an interest in you. Right. So you peep game on that one, and that didn't work. So this is how the relationship with you came to fruition. Because maybe they were only supposed to pretend a little and then kind of direct you to their sister. Okay? Now, again, others of you, know that these people started fooling with your relatives, that they were offered stuff by relatives. You know that some of these men were offered stuff by landlords in order to be nosy about you or your kids. Landlords or managers or, you know what I'm saying? You know. You also know about all these different people's involvement with trying to get you sick and your children sick and poisoning. You've put it together. You've gathered some evidence. Eureka. Why was I getting sick every time this person? Okay. You also know about the spell work, what was draining you and your children's energy. You know about it. You know about them hitting on your adult children, and you know about their sex magic. You know about all of this little weirdy shit that they think you don't know about. Okay? So the Divine Feminine is the last one these people need to be concerned with because she's not surprised. She's already been processing all of this stuff. Already. Okay? So it ain't new for her or to her. Other people, maybe. Okay. And feminine. This is I'm sorry, but yeah, like I said, so people put you in their crazy shit. First and foremost, they came out of the box with ill will and hidden dishonor. Period. Then number two, they involved you in the shit show, that in which is their crazy life. Okay? So now you all have not only some of these men's family and friends, some of these men's female lovers, or their jilted ex-female lovers, but you also have their jilted male lovers, okay, that knew of you too, much like some of the karmic women. They knew of you from the beginning. They could have been one of many in the ear of these men. Not that that matters, because, you know, you should have a mind of your own as an adult. But these men they practice the dark arts, or their relatives do. Whoever they were fooling with. Okay? And they were doing rituals on you, as well as the men that they were sleeping with. Okay? Yeah. And some of you may recollect the breakup. You may have actually seen them in a vision, who these men are. Well, you already had a picture. Some of you might got a picture because when you were dating, your ex could have been showing you like work and stuff like that, and they could have shown a picture and said, oh, like that's my coworker, right? So you could have recollected from that, plus a vision or a dream, because these people were attacking you and their spirit. Okay, because you got to remember, they were sexual with these people. All right, was in competition, you know, and then you know how this goes when you start to make it. They could have been doing the breakup spells. They could have been doing all sorts of shit because they're into this to get their way. This person may have been getting shit either from your ex, or your ex could have been getting shit from them. Okay. And right now, there's energies going on where people, some of your exes feminine, some of them, are feeling some kind of way, but look what they've done. Look what they've created for themselves. You know, this is kind of like the story of, oh, my gosh, what happens when you decide to be toxic. Because they could have been talking trash about you. You're not shocked about any of this stuff. You see these folks. You know what I'm saying? Talking trash and shiznit. Right? Whoop. You ain't gonna be shocked by none of this shit, because that's the way some of these people roll. You know that. You peep game. Okay? You've peep game. Like, that's how these collective of folks operate. That's how they do each other. So you're not shocked that you were amongst that. Okay? So what I'll say to the divine feminines is, well, continue to be cautious and continue to keep records, and so that you can do the things you're doing, because you guys have like these real life weird, it's real. And it is beyond the higher ups. It's beyond just, oh, the government. Nah, this is a mixed bag. This is a mixed bag. You got people showing up at parks and shit, you know what I'm saying? Weirdos hoovering behind, you know what I'm saying, trucks and in bushes, bitch, out of nowhere, looking weird, looking like a fucking reptilian and shit. And I'm not talking about physical appearance. I'm talking about like their energy is off. You know? It's like, ugh, what are you doing? Like, ugh. Right? And lately, I've been in this vibe where I'm saying shit. You know? And it's throwing people off, but I'm saying shit. I'll be like, don't even fucking try it. As I keep on walking, like, don't even fucking try it. Because your ass gonna be electrocuted. You're gonna wake up electrocuted. That fucking car, that fucking truck is gonna go off the freeway. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got bitches showing up at gyms and shit. This thing is weird. So these men was into some weird shit with weird people, and they brought you in the middle of it. Their addictions to sex, their addictions to, you know, alcohol, drugs, their addictions to money, and, you know, all of these women who got all these schemes, and all these men who got all these schemes, and whoop, and, you know, I can do this and that, and put you right in the middle of that shit. Meanwhile, you were just trying to heal and recover and restore you and your children's life and rebuild. You didn't have no interest in putting your nose in the business of nobody's nothing. But people brought that to you when they decided to target you and when they decided to fuck with you and your children. Okay? They did that. All these people did it to themselves. Every last one of them. They did it. All of them. The moment they started rallying and targeting and all of that shit, they invited you and your team. Okay? Because they're playing with your life now. This is beyond somebody's little opinion. Okay? It's they decided to play with your life. Okay? Putting you at physical risk, putting you amidst lunatics and people that's obsessive and stalking and following you around, and dude ain't even at your house or wherever you at. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird. People that's just gruntled, because what this is, they try to say that you guys are far from bitter and grumpy. Grumpy is them, which is why they're trying to do rituals and spells for it to be you. Okay? Grumpy is them. Okay? You're not obsessed with these people. These people are obsessed with you. It's like people doing stuff in the background and pretending not to do stuff and then going around saying, oh my God, this person is so grumpy. No, you're doing shit. Okay? But no, these people are grumpy. I don't know why. I don't know the full totality. What happened with these men or these women as it pertains to your exes. Okay? But what they need to accept is that's a them problem. That is a them problem, and they need to go get their heads checked. Okay? Whether they feel like they got played, whether or not these men decided to stop fooling with them no more, that's a them problem. And these people are projecting, in some cases, feminine, and you know that. That's why you're having to cleanse your energy. You've had to refocus a lot on other things because these people are projecting their unhappiness. They're projecting because shit didn't pan all the way out the way they wanted it, and they're blaming you for it. And so they're projecting. It's their vengeance, right? So he trying to speak well of her. Well, we'll see about that. Well, I'm going to, and that's what's going on with these people. They shouldn't even be on your social media, but they are. They've been on your social media. They've been stealing. They've been doing ritual work, and they've been using it for those purposes. And you know that as well. They're unhappy, so they want you unhappy. For some of you feminines, the exes were unhappy, so they wanted you unhappy. Because again, when people's plans don't last very long and it turns out to be something other than what they had hoped, or they start to get any kind of a backlash for their behavior, they then be mad at you because you got away. And even though you got away to have to heal and rebuild yourself from what these people continue to try to do to you and your children, and you start to feel better and you start to thrive and find your way in the world, then as they start to finally live out some of the things that they were trying to create for you, then they're mad at you because of it. Again, mental illness and this lack of being able to look at yourself. Well, I'm going to attack. I'm going to make you miserable. I'm going to do a chaos spell. I'm going to do a confusion spell. I am going to irritate you. I'm going to annoy you. I'm going to, I'm going to follow you around. I'm going to have all of my friends follow you around. I'm going to do somersaults on the floor. I'm going to sit in the parking lot and take pictures of you. I'm going to just annoy you. I'm going to be all up in your energy and pretend to not be in your energy because I'm a miserable cunt. I'm a miserable fuck. And that's just what it is. These people don't know how to self-regulate. They don't know how to do the things that you, feminine, you had to do. You had to process these betrayals. You had to dig. You had to get creative with it. You had to find a way, and so that you didn't become some kind of a psychopath that becomes obsessed with people and start following people's lives around like a weirdo. Ooh, I want to find out where they work. Like, you guys had to work through this so that you didn't become enmeshed and obsessed with, ooh, well, where they work at, and what did that, and what did that, and what. That's mental illness. And feminine, for people to want absolutely nothing to do with you, it is funny how they be so on you to want nothing to do with you. It's funny how they stay on your social media, stay with their nose all up in your ass, stay with their nose all up in everything about you for people to not want nothing to do with you. See, and that's not normal. Because in normal circumstances, when you don't want nothing to do with somebody, you don't want to work where they work. You don't want to be where they're at. You ain't trying to find them, bitch. You ain't interested. When you don't like something and somebody, the natural and normal thing is to want to have as much distance as you can from anything to do with the person. So if you don't like who they are, you don't like what they do, you don't like what they teach, you put a distance between yourself and all of that. You don't become obsessed and holding your devices every waking moment, waiting for the moment that they may come on and do a video. You don't plot and scheme. You refocus your life and energy onto the things that you want. You become invested in finding your bliss. And feminine, that's what you've been trying to do. And so then it became people's jobs to disrupt it in a passive aggressive, mentally ill kind of way. In a juvenile game playing type of a way. Like a 3-year-old, like two toddlers sitting with each other, and one of them is being annoying, a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and the 3-year-old has got their finger waving it and pointing it at the person saying, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you. That's essentially what these energies have been doing. And that's not your problem. Continue to clear your energy. Continue to do the things, because that's what you guys have been doing. People thought they had a victory over you. They are clueless. They do not have no victory over you. They didn't shut you up. You shut down their shut up spells. That don't work. People want to be doing some shut up spells on people speaking their truth. That's not going to work. Only thing that's going to happen is it's going to infuriate the collective and their spirit team. And they're going to go in the background and start doing some shit. And then they're going to come out with more ferocity. That's what's going to happen. It happens that way every time. Well, I'm just going to plummet them with spells, so much spell work they ain't going to have time. Wrong. Because what's happening now is a new game in town. Feminines, you're not falling for no reverse psychology. You're not for all these little things that they've been trying to do to get you in antics, to get you upset, to get you giving them feed. Some of what's happening is simply you no longer feeding them, which is a part of why in the background they amp up the other stuff, because you are no longer feeding them. So they start to follow you around even more. They start to do even harder stomps on the floor. They start to, do more and more annoying things because you're not feeding them. Because that's this reverse psychology shit, this parasitic. You are going to speak your truth as you're guided to, when you're guided to, if you're guided to. And then you're going to not pay it no mind and say nothing of it when you're guided to. And as simple as that. You're going to go into silence when you're guided to. And you're going to come out when you're guided to. And you hold the key and the authority. Ain't none of they little spells working worth shit. In fact, it's working. It is working. There's a change in the garb, though, because now, as of yesterday, and whatever it is that you all are implementing, collective, is going to give a different effect to how when these people are doing their spells. So they're going to continue to do all the things that they've been doing. They're going to, be that. But now, whatever you guys are doing is something that's going to shift the way that hits and how it even hits them. Okay? It's something that's about to shift with that. Because they're not running shit, but their own lives into the ground. And that's what they're about to find out. Okay? Whoop. But keep cleaning, like doing baths, whatever you got to do. And I know it sounds tedious, but whatever you all are finding that's working to clear yourself, your children, continue that. Amp that up and just keep at your focus. Keep giving yourself space. Sometimes silence is powerful. Meanwhile, they think they did some kind of shut up spell. Okay, see, you determine that. let them keep at it. You already know the truth. Some of you guys got proofs. And so that's why you think it's just ridiculous how these people are even trying to still play in your face. You know, yeah, you see the shit. You know, and you are pressing charges, and they are correct. And they're not going to stop you from doing that. You are, because again, they came for your life. But you're going to do it the way you're guided to do it. How and when you are governing that. But most certainly. And at the same time, you are not banking or putting all of your cards. You just know that justice is going to prevail for you and your children one way or the other. That's all you know. One way or other, justice for all of this juvenile, primitive, grotesque, brute shit that had nothing to do with you except the people's greed and needing to win at all cost and their own personal bents and issues. The end.